Hey, this is Stone Jordan. Listen, what I want to talk to you about today is called a Refocus Reboot. It's been about 10 years ago now, and by the way, I don't really talk about this much. It's something I'm kind of embarrassed about, but I think there comes a time when enough time passes and you look at something like it's the past, and it makes it easier to talk about. So I want to tell you today about one of those instances. It's been about 10 years or so ago when I started my insurance business. It's the same business I own now. And at the same time, I also was trying to get a fledgling youth ministry going. And I felt like at that age, I had so much burden on my shoulders. And I had just been feeling this for a long period of time, feeling really burdened. And I'll never forget, it was just a pivotal moment for me. I went into my office one morning feeling the weight of this burden. Before we opened the doors, the lights were still off. I went in, I closed the door, and I'm thinking about all the things that I have to do and everything I've been stressing over. And I honestly just fell to my knees and I started bawling. And that's not something I've done a whole lot in my life, but I did. And I started praying to God, just asking Him, what do I do? And the best thing I can really describe it as is a nervous breakdown. I mean, I fell under the weight of all of this stuff. And it was very painful at the time, honestly. And I feel like I'm not the only one that's been through something like that, where you feel like you just can't handle all the weight and all the burden and all the worry of everything that's going on in your life. Now, Philippians chapter 4 says that we're not to worry, right? And so I have a question for you. How is that working out for you, not worrying? So we really need to try as Christians to bridge that gap, okay? To worry less and to trust in God more. And so I really realized at that time that I had that breakdown, that I had never been taught the life skill of managing my time. And that burden that was on my shoulders, what I really realized, it was what I'm getting ready to share with you. A computer, whenever it's doing things, whenever it's opening programs, whenever it's using processes, it's loading things into the memory, okay, into the RAM. And whenever that computer reboots, the RAM is completely cleared out, so that the next time it boots up, it's free to work and do the processes that need to be done, right? Our brains work in very much the same way. If your brain is cluttered with all kinds of stuff, then there's not a lot of horsepower to do what's most important. And so this exercise, it really is a refocus reboot. It's going to reboot our brains and help us to refocus on the things that are most important. Now, I have to say, you can watch this and do it passively, and it won't be a huge change in your life. If you actually take the time to do the exercise, it'll make a huge difference. So I really want to encourage you to do that. It will make a huge difference if you just put in the little bit of work that needs to be done. Okay, so let's do this refocus reboot. The first thing you need to do is you need to be on a computer where you can type stuff out. If you want to use Evernote, if you use that, it's great. This isn't a tutorial on Evernote, so if you don't know how to use it, just open like a Word document, someplace where you can type, and we'll go from there. Okay, so the first thing we want to do is we want to go on an action adventure. Now, an action adventure is thinking of all the things in your head that need to get done, okay? These are actions, tasks, to-dos, communications, follow-ups, everything that needs to be done in your life that you're keeping in your head, everything that needs to be done, type it out. And I'm not going to take the time to wait, but that's how you do it. There's a worksheet, by the way, at stonejordan.info that will take you through each one of these things. But do that and pause this video while you're doing it and then come back to me. Okay, so let's move on. Let's go to what's called the contribution cruise, okay? The contribution cruise. What this is what are the ways that you want to contribute and you want to serve in this lifetime, okay? How do you want to serve yourself? You know, how do you want to contribute to yourself and how do you want to grow, okay? How do you want to contribute and serve your family, your church, your friends, and then on the next level, the local community, and then on the next level, society in general, okay? How do you want to contribute and how do you want to serve? In every way for the rest of your life, type it out and then come back. Okay, now the last thing is called the fear footpath. Okay, we're going to walk the fear footpath. This one isn't as fun, but what this is, you think of everything that you're afraid of. And this is going to be painful for some people, but I just suggest you do it because when we get to the other side, it's going to be well worth it. Okay, the fear footpath is everything that you are afraid of and everything that you are insecure about. Okay, what are you afraid of happening? What are you afraid or insecure about? Are you afraid of not being enough or not being loved? What are your insecurities? Write all those things out. Be exhaustive about it, just like in the other areas. Pause the video and come back when you're done. Okay, so now that you've done all three of these things, here's what I want you to do. I want you to look at the fear footpath, and I want you to decide which ones of these actions you can do nothing about. Okay? Which actions can you do nothing about? And I want you to delete those actions. And as you delete those actions, I want you to say a prayer and just ask God to take that burden from you. Okay? Now, here's the next thing. I want you to look at your contribution crews, and I want you to decide which are the things that you can take a next step to get something done in order to contribute. And I want you to do those things. Okay, and pause the video while you're looking through there. It's going to take some time. Okay, now you just have a bunch of actions that need to be done. Now, you're going to categorize these actions into actions you're going to do in the next 30 days, or that can be done maybe in the next 30 days, and then actions that will take more than 30 days to accomplish. Once you do that, what you have is you've completely been able to refocus and reboot your brain. And if you actually did the exercise, I know that there is a certain peace that you have by doing this, because you've been able to get all that stuff that's been rolling around in your head out. David Allen has a great quote. He says, the mind is really good for having ideas, and it's really bad for holding them. And that's very true. So getting all that stuff out of your head, it allows you then to reboot your focus and think about the things that are most important. I hope you found this helpful. Leave me a comment and let me know how this worked for you. I went through it really quickly. Be sure to use the worksheet if you're going to go through this again. And let me know if there's anything I can do to help. Have a fruitful week. Thank you so much, and we'll talk to you soon.